All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the K3s community meeting. Today is June the 10th, and that's official community meeting as part of the CNCF organization. So please be nice to each other and follow the code of conduct. My name is Orlin. I'm the community manager for the project. I'm just shared a link to our community meetings in HackMD. So if you feel like, please add yourself there and add your topics for discussion for today. I can share what we have added already. So we can go through a few stuff. For today, while you're adding yourself, Paul wanted me to add that for the reintroduction of the S390X support. Paul, do you want to discuss on this one or?
Well, not necessarily. We received that request on the GitHub issues. I kind of opened up that it was not something we could easily sort out by just discussing through GitHub issue how to proceed. So I opened for, especially considering the community hours were closed, I invited to join in the community hours to discuss the request or ID and see how we could work it out. But we didn't get an answer from that contributor, so there won't be much to discuss.
Yeah. And yeah, it's closed now. Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay, that was quick. Yeah. So yeah. Sorry about that.
If that person, because doesn't have a name in GitHub,
Yeah,
that person
kind of.
is interested. Now I said, please reach out. Let's have the conversation during the community hours, and we'll see what we could have. Because there are a couple of challenges for sure. So certainly open to discuss it, but we're not going to take a burden of redoing S390 builds ourselves with the existing team.
Yeah. And also, I suppose those people are from IBM. Otherwise, I wouldn't see a reason someone else to ask K3s support for S390 platform.
Well, surprisingly, there were a couple of users of community builds of K3s on S390, mostly to test containers and Kubernetes on S390 because those are expensive resources, and a lean and efficient Kubernetes engine was certainly convenient. But that was a burden for the team at limited feedback. We had challenges, so we decided to turn it off and stop building it. And that was it. And now some folks there and there try to come back and say, I'd like to do it. Sure. Please come and explain how you offer to do it.
All right. I'm gonna speak with some folks at IBM. It's kind of weird. My sister, she works at IBM. She's a mainframe developer, and she works on some stuff with Kubernetes on mainframe. So I can reach out to her and I don't know, in family business to figure out if that's a requirement from IBM or someone is just asking about that.
You're going to activate the Vasilev mafia.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny enough. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna pack that. The next few things I've added them, and the first one is finally we and I in particular managed to open the PR for the governance doc. Interestingly enough, that was we have few comments. So I don't want to go over that like in details, but it's out there. It's a standard, relatively standard governance doc based on few projects and the template from CNCF. So I suppose many of you are interested to review that and provide some feedback if needed and to have it going. So not sure if it makes much sense right now to discuss it and to go over or we can leave it for a few days for review, and then we can take another look later on.
Yes, we can call for the next community hours as the official announcement that
Yeah. Okay.
this is finished.
Yeah. So that is going to be yeah, good idea to leave some time for people to review and read through it. Anyone, any questions on the governance, or we can move forward?
I'll just need people to finalize reading it, and then are there
Yep.
some formal CNCF process to get this stamped and approved, or are we just
No, it's on us.
on
As
us?
long as the maintainers all agree that everything inside it's aligned with the project ideas. I can assure from my side that it's aligned with the CNCF as a CNCF kind of representative in the group. We just merge it, and it automatically becomes the de facto government doc for the project. That's it.
Is it kind of a chicken and egg situation? Should we apply the governance to approve the document?
Yeah, but let's say we have a kind of carte blanche from CNCF to
Yeah.
see that document, so we can working on it and then check it and change it later if needed. So yeah. All right, cool. Please, everybody, read through the document. If you have anything, just address it, and we can change it on the way or decide which way to go. The next thing is I wanted to bring out is the CLO monitoring tool. I'm not sure if you came across this one already, but that's like a scanning system from CNCF. It scans for practically few technical stuff and few process and documentation. We're pretty good. We made good progress for the last 2 months, but there are a few stuff which are missing, like the governance. It's over here, and then there are a few others that I cannot fix on my own for now. For example, the artifact hub badge. I suppose we don't post anything. We don't make anything public on the artifact hub, or do we?
We don't, and it was our understanding that that's not actually a specific requirement.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense for a distro on there, I feel like.
Mhm.
So I just if there was a way to be able to mark things as not applicable instead of getting dinged for not having it.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. If we because for example, for some of my other projects like Harbor, for example, we publish our Helm charts in Artifact Hub, but they make sense, right? But for the distro, as you said, it doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna work it over and to kind of just mark it as not applicable. And the other stuff are in the security area, where I think some of those are already discussed, like the S bombs and signing releases, and a few others, like all the tokens should be read only and stuff like this.
I could have sworn that we had already done the tokens one at one point. I wonder if maybe we introduced new ones that weren't by default read only. Do you happen to remember, Derek? I remember you looked at that a while ago.
Come again? It kind of get.
I know Derek had looked at that a while ago, but I could have sworn that we were passing this check at one point.
I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
Now we can.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we had done a pass. Like Chris said, we had done a pass. We may have accidentally introduced it, but we should be setting to read only. We do have several that do set to write, but when they do, they should be setting it on the on a narrower scope within the either the step or the job, not not at a global state of them.
Hmm.
I'd have to check through, and I can go check the docs and see what it's checking for and what it's,
Yeah.
look at the actual,
It's
using to do that.
that's you can drill down through the documentation to see what's actually the check
Yeah.
performed. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do remember us handling that at some point.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have rights on the organization level to check on my own, so I have to hand it over to some of the maintenance team.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, sorry about that. And well,
For the SBOM one, that one's a little odd as well, because as of like a year ago, I think you can actually generate like an SBOM from GitHub itself. Is that not sufficient? Like, do we need to sign the SBOM? Or does it just need to be made available?
we just have to make it available. Do we supply the SBOM with the artifacts from the build, or
That we probably don't do.
No, because
Okay.
it's still all in drone. It's still largely releases are not yet been transitioned to GitHub Actions.
It's all doable, but we haven't been given the marching orders, so to speak, to do it. There's an effort going on right now that could probably introduce it as a side effect. But yeah, like I said, we'd have to be, issued the requirement to do so.
Yeah, we can certainly look into that.
yeah, and then also we use Trivi to scan for the CVs, right? So we can also use the Trivi to create the SBOM and just supply it with the artifact. At least that's what I've done in the past.
We also, I believe, unless we've removed it, we still scan with FOSSA, which does both license scans
Yep.
and SBOM generation. So I guess we probably don't make them available as part of the artifacts, as you said, but we do generate them as part of the FOSSA.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we do FOSSA as SUSE, not as the K3s project.
I think we run it on K3s.
Yeah, we do. We have the batch, so I'm pretty sure
we
we
run it on. I don't think we run it on SUSE infrastructure. I think we get a license from the CNCF.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm
If
not,
I'm not mistaken.
familiar with the SUSE one then.
Or we did.
We do. I'm not logged in, but anyway. All right.
So we could potentially. They just want to see it for whatever reason. They just want to see that in as a release artifact.
Yeah.
So we just need to either upload those as release artifacts or work that into however we want to do it. There's a couple different ways. Obviously, we could.
Yeah. All these are just to open a bracket. All these are not like super high requirements, but it will gain more trust and to give us more points when we apply for incubation. So if we do all that, it will definitely be looked as a positive impact on the project and how we move. So, and it's not that, I think from my point perception of the task is not like super complicated to implement. If it is, just say so, please, not to waste like cycles of useless stuff that we don't care. Okay.
Yeah, we'll certainly look into it, and if it ends up being less trivial than expected, we'll let you know.
Yeah. Do you want me to create like issues to be able to work on this one, or we're fine with?
We're fine. We can do it.
Okay. Cool. Alrighty. So that was everything from the CLO monitor. The next thing on my list, the things that I've added is on the next one that comes in that time zone is July 8th. I'm on vacation, so I'm gonna ask someone like Rob, or if someone of you wants to lead that meeting, it would be super useful. Yeah, a forced offensive volunteering, but I'm gonna speak with Rob if he can join and cover up for.
And
Okay.
as far as I remember, in the Keyboard project, the main thing to remember is how to get the Zoom started, because we're not familiar using Zoom in that group.
It's automatically started. You just log in on the time and it starts recording, and that's it. And you just do the meeting, shut down the meeting, and then I'm gonna, when I'm back, I'm gonna just fix the recording and upload and everything else. The boring administrative stuff, I'm gonna fix that afterwards. But the actual meeting is like ongoing without nobody doing anything, just logging in and doing it. All right. If Rob cannot cover for me, I'll ask in the channel if someone from you folks can do that. Few remarks about KubeCon and the CFP. The regular CFP notification should be out on July 28th. Is there anyone from that audience here applied for a regular talk at KubeCon in Atlanta end of the year? Nope. Okay. Because if we want to build more presence there as a team, as a project, one way to get the ticket is to apply for a talk and get accepted. That it's a world, like a company applicable for every company to get approved. If you have accepted talk, pretty much they will approve your budget to go. So it's like the kind of tricking the system a little bit.
We've certainly, I don't think we've submitted any for this specific CFP. We've done it many times in the past, and I don't think we've had one accepted yet. So we don't have the best track record with getting them accepted.
Yeah. Because until we don't go to incubation, we cannot apply for maintenance track, which is the maintenance track is pretty much for sure approved, except if you don't do some stupid stuff. But for the folks who are going to do the maintenance talk on the maintenance track, they get tickets automatically. So it's the perfect way to get maintainers in. But we don't have that opportunity now. We can get it once we are in incubation. So until then, we have to apply separately and hope for the best to be accepted. But yeah, but anyway, in general, if I can help with any submissions, I just finished reviewing the CFPs for the one of the tracks for the upcoming KubeCon. So I think I can help out with fine-tuning your submission. And the other thing is which is kind of related to this one, is for the kiosk. So there's a great opportunity. I think I spoke about that previous time in the project pavilion area to represent the project. So I'm part of my other duties on the community side, not only K3s, I'm going to be there for sure. So I'm going to shoot out for kiosk pavilion area for the project. So if someone else is going to be there and can join me on the project pavilion, it would be great. The end date to apply for this one is July 21st. So
we used to apply multiple projects separately. Do you think it could work if we kind of bundle, like if we apply for Longhorn, K3s, and Warden together on a kiosk?
For one kiosk?
Yeah, that way it's less people to attend and more projects in one place.
I can address that to CNCF. Normally that's not the case. The kiosk is like per project for half a day or full day. Projects do not share kiosks during the day, like simultaneously. But I can try to speak with them, and we have good argument that we are kind of short on people that are going to attend. So maybe they can figure out. I don't know. I'll speak with George Castro. He's the one kind of arranging all that. So I'll update you next time. And yeah, and talking about next time, I was thinking about it, and actually today Justin wrote me in LinkedIn that having once a month meeting is kind of feels disconnected. If you miss a meeting, that means you're missing like a huge period of time. So I know we're running those for a very short period of time, but do you think it's making it like bi-weekly? It's going to be feasible, or is it going to be overhead for you? So to be more present on the community side, and if people miss one, they are not missing too much for the next one.
I mean, the agenda is already not very packed currently.
Yeah.
So
That's
doing
that's the other
more-
thing. Yeah.
Doing more often means having less topics in the agenda. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
the rest of the time there should be async approach, and then we just know that next time you want to talk with people, it's at least once a month. And if you miss it, then you can call out for a direct conversation or just wait for the next one you can attend. So otherwise, it's a lot of time and not many topics.
I agree with Paul. I mean, I think we're a lot of the conversation that we do have with the community, we're very active on the Slack as well as the discussions on GitHub. Like we get new discussions on GitHub quite regularly, and we answer them very quickly. So if this were the only way that we had talks with the community, I would say I would agree that we should do it bi-weekly. But I think until we get the level of participation in agenda that would require bi-weekly, I would suggest that we keep it monthly.
Yeah, agree. But it's like it's a two-way street. I mean, if people know that we are there every second week, the possibility of someone to be brave enough to come and to speak, it's higher. So it's from one side, I understand. I mean, if it's gonna it's gonna look bad, like joining in just to see no agenda and hey, how everybody's doing, and let's close it. But the thing is that the consistency of being there and being able to accept someone to ask question is something that we can think about it. That was my point. So it's about consistency and having us in the community and being available. But
maybe we think about it once people from the community start showing up.
Right, you mean like external to SUSE and
yeah.
Yeah.
We it's not like we don't have anyone yet. I mean, we had like I think 3 people so far. So
Yep.
people start showing up, people get on GitHub or on Slack and complain like, hey, I'd love to come to the meeting, but I can't make that time, or it seems like you guys don't meet enough. Like, then we can evaluate making it more frequent. But when we're already having, like was said, like very little on the agenda, making it more frequent doesn't seem like the correct way to address the lack of attendance.
Cool. Yeah, totally understand it. Okay.
Orlin, you're saying that meeting more frequently will actually boost the number of people who show up. That's what your experience.
Boost is maybe not the right word, but it will give more opportunity to more people to show up.
So you're more concerned about scheduling and less about like popularity.
Yes. If we, from my experience, if we have that cadence going, and people know that they can show up and speak if they need to, it kind of engages more. But on the other hand, it's kind of bad when there's nobody actually, but still that consistency at some point pays out, because people know that there's something happening there, so they can join. If I manage to answer the question.
I think so. I'm just since we're talking about scheduling, I think Brad's probably I would side with Brad just because it makes sense that if we're talking about scheduling and somebody can't schedule, they should, reach out and say something, then we can change scheduling. If it's about popularity, then and consistency, raising our popularity, that's a different thing.
For now, the thing that how I see it is the project was not well represented outside of the SUSE. So I'm not sure if you can recall that.
I would push back a little bit on that just because we are very like I said, like if you look at the GitHub discussions, they're very plentiful and they're almost all community folks. So we are doing it. We were doing a horrible job of having meetings like this. I will definitely agree to that. But I think we do get community engagement. We just don't have it in as structured of a way like this meeting.
Yeah. Okay. True. I take that back. But yeah. So, but we have to balance it out for between the GitHub discussions and this one is just part of the deal that we have to do. Okay, cool. Let's park this one for now until we think that it makes more sense to make it more often, and then we can discuss it again.
Should we start inviting people to come to the in-person meeting from discussions?
Yeah, that's something that we should definitely do if they want to have like in-person discussion about something like office hours or developer hours, whatever you call it, or they want to showcase something of kind of usage or something. It's great if you drop a line under the issue, like, yeah, you can join next time whenever. Here's the link. Feel free to be our guest and to present or speak up.
Are there templates for discussions? Like, can we add that to a template so that it's all automatically there? That way, anybody who starts a discussion will see, oh, well, this is when they meet if they want to talk in person.
We can create one. You mean like a template for discussion for GitHub, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, we can create one. Good idea. So are there? I'm missing that a little bit. Are there more discussions under the issues or in discussion section of the GitHub? If that makes sense as a question, like where people are more active on under the discussion section, or having like opening issue and then the discussion goes.
People
Sorry,
typically open issues and then they get converted to discussions by us if they're just asking questions. Some people
Gotcha.
some people know enough, but I'd say in general it usually shows up as an issue first.
All right, so the dynamics is more on the discussion side. Okay, cool. All right. I'll take a look how we can achieve that. Never done that, so shouldn't be super complicated anyway. All right. I kind of run out of my topics for today. Anyone else wants to share something, or we can close and have half an hour back?
I'd like to maybe open a question that we should not discuss, maybe not discuss this time, but think about and discuss next time. So how do we get like a deployment process that's independent of SUSE? How do we get artifacts or images published somewhere that is not under SUSE's control, is not where we don't need secrets from SUSE, is completely separate? Does that make sense?
I mean, Derek's already working on that with his work on publishing images under GHCR instead of to the Rancher K3s on Docker Hub. Other than that, we don't need the SUSE secrets for anything. It's all just using the GHA secrets.
Yeah, I can speak a bit more, Matt, about that. Just like we have, Brad is absolutely 100% correct. We've moved to GHCR as like that is the future of us trying to publish outside Rancher's control, SUSE's control is publishing to GHCR because that's requires no external stuff, and we just publish with our own GitHub, our inherent tokens straight to our own GHCR section for K3s.io. In the future, looking for, several years ahead, I would love to stop publishing to Docker Hub Rancher, right? But that's just not right now, like all the secrets we get from SUSE is to maintain backwards compatibility effectively and like reach a parity point, and then we can slowly discuss moving off of them. But the problem is all the people's infrastructure built around K3s just assumes rancher / K3s something, you know, or it's just been that way for forever. So we're fighting inertia in that regard.
And also all the, I mean, so all the stuff we have under the rancher org to prevent people from running into image pull rate limiting, right? So we've got like Clipper LB and Clipper Helm and traffic and like all the other stuff that we have mirrored under the rancher org. That's not strictly part of K3s itself. Like it needs to be there for K3s to work properly. But you know, if we want to move off the rancher, the Docker IO rancher namespace entirely, we would need to change the default registry for K3s, and then just be aware that by doing that, we're now opening our users up to basically needing to have their own mirror or authenticate to Docker Hub, or they're going to start getting image pull rate limiting. We know for a fact in the past when we've had issues with Rancher's contract, well, SUSE's contract with Docker Hub to exempt people from rate limiting, people start getting people start hitting that rate limit very quickly if we're not exempted. So I think we want to continue to lean on that for as long as possible, at least for the mirrored images to help prevent people from running into that pain point.
Brad has a point here because Susie's paying for the bandwidth for the service in Docker Hub currently, still doing it out of his, I don't know, being nice or being consistent, but that's indeed a problem, especially considering Docker company can increase their expectations in terms of how much they ask, and that might become a problem. So there is the point, Matt, where you're right that it's a little bit of getting it out of SUSE control, but there is also an interest for SUSE to, I don't know, limit the cost, because that's high cost. You know, it's I don't know if is it recorded?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only say it's a more than 6 figures bill a year. That, you know, is certainly a lot of money, and that's a challenge. So we need to start thinking about how we can organize, not abruptly, but at least make enough warnings and enough communication and enough heads up around the fact that this should move to a different means of distribution.
Totally. And I was just opening the question for us to consider. Maybe we should have a roadmap, roadmap to independence from SUSE and all the hurdles in place. Because I agree, a 6-figure budget is definitely a hurdle. So yeah, let's. I just say we'd write it down and maybe have some goals. That's all.
And on the other hand, have we addressed that in the past to CNCF to cover that bill for that particular?
It would be the same challenge. The problem is that you need to move to a different. I mean, I think they would provide a different namespace. Then you need to move to a different namespace. So you need users to change that.
Yeah, it is going to be impactful for the users for sure, because they have to change from rancher to K3s IO or whatever namespace that we're gonna migrate to. Yeah, but as Matt said, with proper planning and roadmap, it's doable.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be like a near-term roadmap. It can be a decade-long roadmap. You know,
6 figures over a decade.
But eventual migration to GCR, do we expect to have the same cost of this one? I'm not sure about that. I mean, do we have the same restrictions there as we have with
The
with
GitHub
Docker?
one is covered by CNCF. I don't know what we're paying there or if it's courtesy of GitHub. I don't know.
But I mean, to be clear, there is no, I don't think there's any other repo other than maybe the ones run by major cloud providers, like I think the one that Google's sponsoring for Kubernetes. I think there's public ones for ECR and maybe Azure Container Registry as well. Like those all bill against their clients, right? They bill against like your account if you're doing authenticated pulls, but like everything except for the GitHub org on or the Rancher org on Docker Hub is going to have some sort of pull limit. Your people need to authenticate or pay money to not be hit by rate limiting. So even if we have like, you know, an account that's sponsored by CNCF for, you know, for GitHub Container Registry, unauthenticated users will still hit rate limits. So there's not really a way around that once we move off, regardless of who's sponsoring the project.
But okay, with here the I see two different issues. One is having the artifacts under the Rancher namespace, and the other one is who's paying the bill, right? So even if we move to K3s IO, for example, still we can find someone to pay the bill, most probably. I'm just shooting in the dark, and have it independent from Rancher and SUSE in that regard, not the bill itself, but
They used to offer, you know, a program where open source projects could request exemption from image pull rate limits. But if I remember correctly, it was, I don't know if it was ever officially discontinued, but what I heard from other projects that were doing that was the people that were running that on the Docker Hub side stopped responding at some point. When they would occasionally respond, there was a lot of additional paperwork, and it felt like they were kind of dragging their feet. And they were turning down projects that had previously been sponsored that. So like whatever program they were running for that, once they got bought by Microsoft, I think was like they just sort of, they did the Microsoft thing, right? They killed it without killing it. So I don't know if like there's a equivalent to that, or if the legacy deal we have for Rancher is even still available anymore.
I can, if we have the will to go that way, long term, of course, I can investigate that and to see what kind of options we have from CNCF side for Docker Hub or GitHub or DCR, and to evaluate if that's going to work for us or not. And then if we decide that it's going to work, we can start planning on this one. If everybody's okay with that.
We had that free of charge Docker Hub thing for Flannel, and then it expired, and then it took them like 2-3 weeks to renew it, and like 2-3 weeks ignoring our emails. So for 2-3 weeks, everyone was complaining that we're getting limitations.
Yeah,
was painful. That's why we
it's a
moved to
yearly
GDPR.
renewal. Yeah, it's a yearly renewal.
And how heavy is Flannel on this one? Because I know K3s is super heavy on pulling images. Is Flannel heavier than that?
No, it's another league. We are in the 4th league. Okay. I'm gonna speak with the folks for CNCF what we can have, what's visible, and what if we can rely on it, not to have it like stopped for 2 weeks and then people not to be able to deploy anything for 2 weeks. So and we can continue that discussion. Cool. Any other topics?
One thing that I wanted to ask you, Orlin, is about recognition in the community. I think some folks in this call, yeah, they deserve a recognition. People that are coming and do great PRs, they're not maintainers. I think it would be nice to recognize their work. I don't think we have any money for hoodies, t-shirts, whatever, but can you think of any other way? I see there are virtual badges in GitHub or
Yeah.
things like that that we could create.
Yeah, there was discussion not long ago into maintainer circle stuff, how we can recognize contributors and maintainers. So one way is, I think we do that by mentioning all the contributors for a specific release. But the other way is like to issue a badge for each release as a contribution. That's one way. The other way is to look for sponsors for the hoodies and such, as you said. So, but I cannot promise on this one. I can promise looking for the free stuff, not the paid stuff. So, but any ideas around that it's are great. So practically we can, for example, we can write blogs around the people who are contributing. So to get more visibility for them, that's the thing that we can do for sure. So if you, let's put it this way: if you, Manu, if you have someone in mind that, or a list of people that that deserve that recognition and haven't been done so far, please drop me a message so we can figure out how to do that for each and every release. We can figure out the badges or some other way to recognize the people, because you have like you folks have more insights of who is contributing and who is regular. I'm still trying to figure out who is who and then how to navigate all that. So yeah, I'll need your input for this stuff. Okay. Any other topics? Nope. All right. With that, I think we can close for today. We have our next one tomorrow at noon European time. So I suppose for the US folks, that will be super early. But for the rest, I hope I can see you tomorrow so we can discuss this stuff and maybe some new from the rest of the community from that side of the globe. With that, thank you very much, everyone, and see you in a month time in that pack. All right. Thank you.